Alright. What's up, everybody, and welcome back. We got a big TvP for you here. Down here in the bottom left side of the map, representing Onside Gaming, it's MARU. MARU, an absolute monster. The greatest Korean GSL player of all time. The greatest GSL player of all time. The greatest player in Korea, is what I meant to say, and I kind of jumbled those together. He's up against Hero, though. A player who, let's be honest, overall is a victim of MARU, but there are times when Hero kind of switches it on, gets in gear, and does beat MARU. I feel like there's no point where MARU just straight dominates Hero for like 3-4 series in a row. It's always like MARU wins 2, and then Hero wins 1. MARU wins 1, Hero wins 1, MARU wins 2, Hero wins 1. I think overall the percentage is still pretty favored for MARU, but Hero always has the ability to beat just about any Terran player, and he's going for a quick Nexus and an early Sentry. Now this makes perfect sense. Reapers suck on this map because this is the only way into the base. So a very clever opening for Hero. He's going to get full scouting and no doubt think about taking a fast third base. Of course, Maru's gone Marine. He's just scouting around, making sure there's no proxies, factory behind it, and a command center on the natural. For those who don't know, this is the ESL Masters Winter. This is a big tournament and a lot is on the line here. And it's the first round of the knockout bracket. Both players not being able to win in the winner's stage and getting knocked down. Having to play through the first round of the knockout bracket is a very hard task. They're going to have to win, I think, 3 or 4 matches in a row from here in order to qualify to the top 8. And you've obviously got a lot of players waiting in front of you that are all of a high pedigree. It's a hard path. But that is, of course, why getting into the winner's stage by being seeded highly from your region is such an advantage. And MARU, unfortunately, did not have a great GSL season. Hero also struggling recently. But we'll see where it goes. Hellion's going to try to drive in. 2 Stalkers and a Sentry. Now, what's funny here, this is Maru's first scout. Guys, he sees a Sentry and 2 Stalkers. And you know what that means? That means he's playing Twilight or Robo. Because he spent all this gas on these very heavy units. So from Maru's point of view, he's playing against definitely not a Stargate. Definitely not a Stargate. And this is a mind game. It was actually Special Off Racing as Protoss who first taught me this. Where if you open Sentry and then you like deny their scouting, you can see everything the Terran's doing, and then you can still actually play Stargate. Even though it's a late Stargate, it's the most unexpected Stargate, and sometimes that's the most powerful. And I remember thinking it was the dumbest thing ever. I was like, who the hell goes Sentry Stalker into Stargate? That's stupid. You're just doing dumb things, Special. And he's like, why? It makes sense. It makes sense. And you know, it actually does make sense on a map like this. I actually really like it. So we've got 2 Phoenix out, a 3rd one on the way. The drops coming in, the Stalkers and the Sentry are well positioned. A Cyclone on its own is no match for these, and if he tries to go in deeper, the Phoenix will shut him down. Now, you want to have 3 Phoenix together, I would say, to deal with this. I mean, just 2's fine, actually, especially with the Stalker out there, isn't it? Flying over the little pyramid there with the minerals on top. And if you drop this, you might be able to save the medevac, I think is the idea. But oh, perfectly timed. Hero kills the medevac before picking up the Cyclone. And the Cyclone goes down. The Marines will have to back away. A Hellion drives in. Hero lets it walk right past his Stalker. Uh-oh. At least MARU gets a bit of a scout off. But so far, that's the thing I said. You know, if they know there's Phoenix, if they think there's a chance of Phoenix, MARU might not go across the map there. But a surprising Phoenix is the most effective Phoenix. That's 500 resources lost for none. A great start. Of course, there's always the elephant in the room in this matchup. And that is, no matter how far Hero gets ahead, he still has to kill MARU, because Hero's late game compared to MARU's late game, it's apples and oranges. Well, it's not apples and oranges. Those are both fruit. Those are both very similar. It's gold and garbage. Let's put it that way. Hero's late game is garbage compared to MARU's. MARU is just god tier in the late game. He always has a chance of making comebacks if he can just push the game late enough. Now, obviously, easier said than done against a guy who has the aggressive prowess of Hero. But look at the scouting. Sees the 3 barracks on the way, sees the command centers. Immortals are coming out behind it. He's got a good spread of Stalkers around his bases in his mineral lines, sending hallucinations out. And that 3rd base wasn't that early. It only went down after 5 minutes. But he's taken both gases on it immediately. And we'll be going into Colossus momentarily now that the Robo Bay is done. An extra Sentry starts, as does a Colossi. We've got a Raven Harass coming in, but with 3 Stalkers there, the new Auto Turret won't do anything against 3 Stalkers. Oh, he does get 2 down, and Hero's not reacting. Hero. Ooh. Hero very sloppy. I mean, only 3 probes definitely could be worse. The Phoenix is going to pick up a free kill there. I don't really think this was worth it, sending the Raven in right now. Does just lose that one. MARU gets his first 3 probes, but he's lost 1,000 resources here. as he goes up to barracks 4 and 5. Siege tank production, no surprise. I think we might be seeing a game where MARU never stops building siege tanks. The reason being, you cannot break a Terran player that sits behind a wall off with siege tanks. He'll have the range advantage, and there's just no way to deal with that. Turret building on the far right. I like the turret, but I actually don't like that as much as building it here, because a prism can literally fly right past. There's a lot of dead space on the edge of this map, so you need a turret there and there to stop prisms getting in the bottom side. This side, I think that turret's okay. It's got the turret there as well, just to make sure the prism doesn't just come and warp in behind the natural, as that is wide open on this map. Second Stargate Fleet Beacon, what? Hero! Oh, you troll. It's actually a really good style. So because this map is so turtly, usually you're both going to be camping for the next 5 minutes. And remember what I said about MARU can just drag it out to late game because he's had a bad start. If Hero takes a 4th and then just gets Tempests, like he can just chip away at you from afar, pick off Liberators, pick off your ground units. Thors technically beat them, but I mean, how are you going to build Thors? Like, what the hell, man? You could technically play carriers. I don't mind a couple of carriers, but going for a lot of carriers is definitely a bit of a dodgy choice. Yeah, this map is made for late game turtle, and MARU's the best at that, and Hero just not showing that much urgency on taking the 4th. Okay, carriers. It is carriers. +1 ground weapons as well as 2 carriers on the way. I really feel that Tempest Disruptor is an easy win for him. This is Inside Out. Do you guys remember the map Inside Out? The one that had the Burning Blizzard headquarters on it before they fixed it to get it on ladder? This was a map when Hero got 50 supply up on MARU and then almost threw the game. And he only... The reason is because he didn't make long-range units that could chip away at MARU's tank positions. And the moment he started making Disruptors, he started winning, because Disruptors can just knock the wall down for free, pick off a siege tank from just barely outside of range. Even after the Disruptor range reduction, you can still kill siege tanks without getting hit by a Disruptor if you just use the very edge of their splash damage. Now, MARU's going to move out and get an Observer. I like that move. The hallucinations of Hero, though, will get in. He's going to see what's going on. 2 more command centers. That's your sign. Yep, he's going to play endgame. Big surprise there. Not. Hero knows exactly what's happening. The question is, how does he break it? And I got to say, second Robo and Disruptors. It's the best long-range unit in the game. Hero is going to go carriers and a Mothership, though. I don't know, guys. Some of you say Mothership's good. I would say in this scenario, it's Mothership. I'm sorry. I try not to swear too much. I'll stop, guys. I apologize. I apologize, those of you with children in the room. My bad. But yeah, it's just this tells me that he's just going to try to recall. He's going to attack the front, get MARU out of position, and then he's going to try to run down the south and recall in the bottom. There's quite a few turrets around. To me, it lacks the clean, precise power of someone who just goes the kind of Tempesty Storm Disruptor contain. I guess there are already a good Viking count out, so it's kind of hard. I mean, I'd like to make it sound simple and be like, just do this. It's never that simple, not against MARU. But we'll see what he's got in store. It looks like Templar Archives coming in. I do think Psystorm becomes amazing when you force these air battles, because the Terran always inevitably ends up with a mass of Vikings, which are very fragile, and often will run out in front of any EMP coverage, where just 1 or 2 High Templar sprinkled around your army, sprinkled around the map, have big storm damage potential. Lots of turrets going down everywhere. Wouldn't be surprised to see building armor and high-sec auto-tracking in this game. Fusion Core has come up for MARU, and more starports with Tech Labs. MARU is going to play Battlecruiser Harassment. Yeah, I think he's got a second armory as well, so he's going to be going for 2-1 ship weapons in a moment, and he's going to go for a Battlecruiser swap. Battlecruisers are a good harassment unit, so I'm curious to see how this plays out. The Phoenix are hunting down the Cyclone in the north, and the Cyclone trying to hide there, but you can run, but you can't hide. Oh, yes, you can. Hero, not paying attention, misses it. Gold Base going to be the 5th expansion for Hero. I do think Hero saw that his opponent was turtling very early in this game and maybe could have taken advantage of it a little bit more. Marines coming out, trying to clear up any observers. Phoenix are out as well. MARU scanning. This is kind of one of the slowest maps in the map pool. It's a map which does get vetoed a fair bit in Zerg versus Terran. But I think because both of these guys feel like, hey, you know, as a Protoss, the further it is away from the Terran, the better it is for not dying in the early game to all their different pushes. But also, if you're a guy like MARU, you love late game, so neither of you really wants to veto this map. It ends up getting played in the very first map of the series. 2 more starports coming in. Carriers need to stop being built right now, guys. He's already on 6 carriers. Carriers are garbage against battlecruisers. The reason is battlecruisers do spawn with 3 armor, and carriers have a base attack of 2 times 5 on each interceptor, which of course, 3 out of 5, that's 60% damage reduction. Assuming you have the same attack and armor upgrades on both sides, 60% is ridiculous. Now, technically, that won't be the case for a little while because we've got +2 finished with +3 on the way, whereas +1 vehicle armor is not quite done. So we're usually going to be up 1, and there might be small windows where we're up 2 upgrades this hero. Even with that, battlecruisers are still pretty hard to deal with. We've got a double drop going north there. Does Hero see it? His observer's not quite in position. Letting that watchtower get taken. There are a few cannons and batteries on the other side. He may have to use his recall, though, which is not something you want to use. Remember, that thing has a 2-minute cooldown, guys. 2 minutes and 10 seconds, even. And, yeah, he uses battery overcharge, but that means he doesn't have recall available. This is frustrating. It's actually a really good move from MARU. Should be able to kill the probes since they're not running away. Yep. Poor response for Hero here. Not pulling the probes, underestimating that pressure. The cannons and batteries are meant to buy you time. Storm drop does come in. Cleans up most of those Marines. Phoenix should be able to shut it down, but 15 workers, not bad. Is Hero not going to replace those? Oh, Hero's replacing it with Army. Hero's saying, oh, you killed some economy? Sick, let's make a bigger army. Let's go for it. Maru's got a squad of Vikings moving to the right. He's looking for Mama right now. Looks like it. Mama does retreat, though. Scans. He sees that she's moving north. Gold base coming up. Still only 64 workers for Hero. And Hero, I love that he's got Storm. I mean, the Storm drop is very powerful. 10 carriers Storm drop. He could win this fight because the Vikings, if they get hit by the carriers, they'll get obliterated. There's not that many Marines or Ghosts on the ground. It really is just about the Vikings and battlecruisers, and there's only 4 battlecruisers. They only have 2-1 upgrades. +3 is almost done for Protoss. Hero also has an armor upgrade coming in. Yeah, Hero could actually do this. As much as I've criticized him not kind of rushing to the later stage, I don't think Maru's super set up for battlecruisers just yet. And he's got a massive worker count. He's got 5 siege tanks. He kind of needs to fight with his tanks and turrets or he's just going to lose. Command center goes down. On the other side, no, oh, Artosa's pylon gets focused down. Hero with a doo-doo. Does have to recall there. And the Marine Marauder's just going to try and take out a cannon or 2 on the way out. But the Zealots will be quickly on top of that, along with these cannons. And the Marine Marauder, once again, go for the focus fire on a pylon. They almost get it. Hero needs to be building extra pylons powering these. That's a note, guys. Whenever you build production defenses at a base, you always want to build multiple pylons to try and make sure those buildings do not get depowered. That's going to be quite a lot of gateways. 9 gateways, not too bad. Got pretty good reinforce. The first battlecruiser harass is coming in. Maru's just using a mixture of siege tanks, ghosts, turrets. I think a few more turrets behind would be nice. Those first battlecruisers. You don't really want to show yourself, so he should quickly veer right. Don't show yourself. Ah, he's already committed, so he's just going to have to commit on the Nexus. I mean, it's still damage. It's just not as high impact as actually getting in a worker line and then teleporting away. Here we go. Hero's going to attack into turret siege tank. Hero is actually insane. I can't believe he's attacking in here. The Mad Lad. Absolutely wild maneuver. Time Warp does go down. The carriers are launching on those Vikings. Is this going to work? Big storm drop. He does get decent storm on the Vikings. He gets another big storm on the Vikings. They're very heavily damaged, but the battlecruisers are tanking like crazy. There's still 2 carriers left, and look at those Vikings on the left side. No storms left. The carriers have to attack the Vikings. Can he win this fight? The battlecruiser Yamato's won. There's only 3 carriers left. Really nice micro here by Maru. Beautiful micro. The way he pulled his Vikings away from the storm, let his battlecruisers tank. His siege tanks and turrets really helped out. Hero's actually ahead in the resources lost, but as the fight ends and you lose units on the retreat, yeah, Vikings will take out that carrier. So at the end of the day, well, Hero's ahead in the units lost, but you got to realize, does that matter? You're up against 7 orbital commands. Your opponent has the Iron Bank. Yeah, 7 orbitals. I mean, he's got better upgrades and infrastructure coming. You got to be really careful here. Battlecruisers teleporting out of there. He's going to try and pick off 2 more Stalkers before he teleports, but no. You do not want to risk losing those BCs. Where's the mass repair? Where are the tanks? Where's the bio? Guys, he's only got 5 barracks. He never got up to 8 barracks. I think actually Hero can kill him right now. I think Hero could move in and kill him right now. But wait, Marauders and Marines are coming forward. 3 battlecruisers, a few Vikings, and just a small pack of bio. I think as long as the Colossus hit the bio and the SCVs, this could be game over. The Stalkers are blinking on top. A battlecruiser goes down. A second battlecruiser goes down here. Third battlecruiser taking big volleys. And even though the Colossi fall, he's already killed the ground army. There's only 5 barracks building. There's just not enough here. Maru, without a planetary or anything anchoring his setup, just gets killed by the Stalker Remax with 2 Colossi and an Immortal. This is massive damage. The battlecruisers are Yamatoing down those units. But if he kills the command center and then goes north, that's an orbital as well. And Hero with the classic +3 attack, no armor upgrade Stalker Remax. using the power of warp-ins off 13 gateways now, admittedly. But damn, I did not realize that was going to work. Pushing in to the turrets, the tanks is so scary. But MARU does get caught out by it. Oh, these carriers getting wrecked. Oh, that's a good fight. Oh, he changed targets. MARU derping on his changing targets. He's letting that carrier get so much more damage. He will take out both of them, but he lost a lot more than he should have there. Stalkers do take out yet another orbital down here, knocking him from 7 to 4 orbitals in just a matter of a minute or two. Hero now has MARU completely pinned. And I gotta say, the +3 carrier timing, something which it seems from the way Hero played that he had this attack timing in mind. And you know what? If he let MARU go for another minute or two, I do think MARU would have been pretty much unbreakable and unstoppable. And he would have just started picking at probes and denying bases with battle cruisers and slowly winning the game. But Hero found that timing. It was a narrow margin, a narrow window. He said, your battle cruisers, 4 of them are in the corner. You don't have that big of an army. Your tanks are exposed. If I take these tanks out, get rid of the bio on the ground, I can finish you off. And the storm drops forcing the Vikings back as well was really big. It's a lot of Stalkers right now. The bio comes forward, an awkward fight for Hero. He's going to blink forward because he's Hero, and the man has absolutely no chill. A lot of players are afraid to fight straight up bio without much splash damage. Hero says, I understand how numbers work. I have an army that just needs to trade. 88 probes versus 39. As long as I keep trading, I will win this game. And Hero wins map 1 on the big macro map. Alright. What's up, everybody? We've got Hero in the top left side of the map, representing Dragon Kaiser Gaming, taking map 1. And he's going for a no scout opening. It's the map is Site Delta, MARU in the bottom right. You know, I actually do prefer, in terms of like looking unbreakable, I do think MARU playing like range liberators, Ghost Viking turret looks pretty much unbeatable versus most Protoss players. I know technically you can pick away at it and beat it, but it's very difficult, and I kind of wish he went for that and then used the battle cruisers later. I think that's kind of like a thing where Radu sets a map where it goes endgame so often, sometimes players just go, oh, it's a foregone conclusion that this is going to go late. So I'm just going to rush straight to the very end game battle cruisers. And I think it got MARU punished. I just don't think battle cruisers are the best unit in those scenarios. I think once he has 3-3 finished, the battle cruisers start to carry their weight. But at that moment, remember, he traded some drops to kill 15 probes. Hero was like, yeah, I'm just not going to replace those. Happy to drop from 80 to 65 workers, replace that with more army and just go. Hey, Pig, if you could give advice to Dark for things to do differently versus top Terran players, what would you say? Practice. Yeah. I think Dark's practice has clearly been lacking for the last year and a half. I don't want to hate on Dark at all, but there are moments where he does play really clean and focused. For him, it's like, how does he get in that focused mindset? Because he played a GSL finals versus MARU this year, and he actually... MARU kind of caught him out with like a lot of very clever plays. I don't know if MARU realized how much he was metagaming or not, but he did say, I asked Crank to ask MARU for me after that, and MARU said, oh yeah, no, like I was cutting workers on purpose. He said, oh, I noticed that Dark is sometimes very greedy, so I wanted to hit him with a lot of, you know, sharp attacks, basically. And he got a lot of easy wins versus Dark. But in the following weeks, Dark destroyed MARU, he destroyed a bunch of top Terrans, and it's because he wasn't getting supply blocked and his openings were really good. The problem is, within 3-4 weeks of that finals, he'd gone back to the old Dark, where his constantly supply blocked and his macro sucked. So that would be it. I'd basically have a coach with him who basically just has some sort of routine practice, maybe cut out some of the weekly cups he's playing, because I don't think he has any time to actually practice. That's my criticism of Dark, is something which is actually totally understandable from his point of view, is he's been on the verge of going to the military for such a long time now, and it keeps getting deferred for whatever reason, and he keeps thinking, no, they're not going to defer it this time. They're gonna force me to go military. And then he finds out he's got another 6 months. And then 6 months later, he finds out he has another 6 months. And 6 months later, he finds out he has another 6 months. It's been like this for such a long time for Dark. So he hasn't been practicing as much because he's basically like, well, I'm going to go at any moment. I might as well just play as many tournaments as I can, win as much money as I can. And he's been in this kind of, you know, weird no man's land for the last couple of years. So I definitely feel like for Dark, that's kind of hurt his practice level. It's also a testament to his skill that the man only practices playing every online tournament he can get his hands on, and he wins a lot of them. Let's talk more about this game here, as obviously Dark's not in this game, but I just wanted to answer that question because I do think Dark has some of the best talent of any player out there. Him and Raynor, I really think are two kindred spirits. Raynor and Dark play very similar styles of StarCraft. high-paced, gambly. They don't mind mixing in all-ins. They love being aggressive. They play fantastic from behind. And just to finish up on this point, the thing is, Reynor also looks pretty average on his openings if he's not super focused. But when he has Lambo coaching him, Reynor wins $400,000, $500,000 tournaments. And that's exactly what you want to focus on as if you're a Dark's coach as well. Is sitting, you just need someone who's a bit more build order oriented to sit down with him and make sure he's focusing on his openings. Now, guys, this is going to be a 3-gate blink pressure. Now a 4th gateway. Sorry, it is a 4-gate blink pressure. I thought it was 3 gates. It's 4. Single Widowmine drop is normally pretty safe against this, but notice MARU doesn't have any tanks. He needs to repair this bunker. If that bunker goes down, he's probably dead. He needs to get that tank sieged up somewhere as well. The Stalker's getting ready to go in. Widowmine drop has not entered the base just yet. That's a lot of Stalkers, guys. 8 Stalkers, 2 Adepts about to come in. The SCVs have not been pulled. Oh my gosh, this is a big mistake here. The Adept Shade cancels. The bunker going down is massive. MARU has to be careful. That tank. He's not sieging his tank. He's got to defend in front of that siege tank. Okay, the Stalkers don't want to risk jumping on top of it. Good safe tank positioning there. But it also means it's not fully covering the gas. Second tank's about to pop out. Once that's out, that's going to be good. MARU accidentally F2s his Widowmine drop home. That'd be very good if he had that in Hero's mineral line right now, but his Marine's going the wrong direction. He loses the tank very quickly. The SCVs are pulled a little bit slowly as well. MARU outnumbered here. That second tank does come down the ramp. It's going to try and siege up in a moment. Potentially, the SCVs are pushing him back. Hero picks up 2 Stalkers. Widowmine actually drops behind the army. MARU takes advantage of his F2 and does kill. Only 3 Stalkers? Oh my god. I thought at least 4 or 5 died, but look how many are weak but not dead. And now he rotates into the main, which MARU expected on the previous round, but didn't end up happening. MARU losing that bunker was such a big mistake. He needed to mass repair there so that he could focus on defending the high ground. But oh no, the medevac. Okay, the medevac saves the tank. 1 Stalker can blink on that and kill that tank. Mass repair coming in. Second tank's out. MARU really stabilizing nicely despite a terrible position that he finds himself in. Stalkers blink south though, and they say, haha, you tanks have to reposition. Refinery and a couple workers go down. So many workers going down. This is actually disgusting amounts of damage. The tank though gets a good position. The Prisoner's there. We've got a Stalker up north as well at the same time. Stalkers take another shot down here. Another shot goes down. Okay, now he's lost 5 Stalkers. He's going to blink to the left. He gets the Raven, but he also takes massive damage. The Marines should commit. You got to focus those 3 red hit point Stalkers. He gets 2 of them, 3, 4, 5. Oh my god. Okay, the tail end of that was much worse for Hero. However, he's got a 3rd almost finished, charge almost finished, and Immortals building. If we look at the infrastructure of MARU, where's his combat shields? Well, it doesn't exist, guys. It doesn't exist. It hasn't started. Yes, he's got 3 barracks. He's got a reactor building on the starport, but he's still trying to stabilize, and he's not there just yet. A couple more SCVs go down. Total of 17 workers, 20 Marines, a Raven, a tank, a Hellion, a Reaper, a Widowmine, a bunker, and a gas for what? 8 Stalkers and 2 Adapts? Amazing trading for Hero as he goes up to 8 gateways right now. He hasn't built a forge just yet. I don't think he cares. I think he senses that he's like on the verge of winning. And he's like, well, if I just get in here before Stim and combat shields, I can kill you. So I expect him to warp in 8 Zealots on the front in a moment. He's got only 1 pylon coming up. He really needs an extra pylon or 2. But honestly, I expect him to just warp in Zealots and go. He's going to go for a drop around the back. Unnecessary. The Marines are going to push him out. Oh, God, Hero. Oh, my gosh. You could tell he wasn't looking at that. Oh, so unnecessarily risky. He's like, I know your whole army's here, but I'm going to drop here and not look at it. I'm like, come on, Hero. Here we go. So now he's trying to bait him out. He's hiding the rest of his army. Hero, because he F2s so much, he's very bad at hiding his army compared to some Protoss players. Because he often just like moves in because he's so eager to fight. But oh, MARU moves out at the worst time. Shields isn't done. The tank goes down. Medevac number 1 falls. The second Medevac is almost dead as well. I like the pullback timing for Hero. Don't chase into the Widow Mines and the choke points necessarily. Sets off the 1 Widow Mine. Stalkers really bruising and battering MARU. MARU does not have a 3rd command center. Hero can take a 4th behind this. This is looking devastating. The Immortals and the Stalkers come in. Not focusing the tank just yet. Maybe a slight misplay for Hero there. Siege tank getting some big damage off, but every time the Zealots come in, they are trading exceptionally well. The Zealots go after the SCVs. He's going into the meat grinder a bit. Okay, Hero needs to, at this point, you know you've done massive economic damage. You just need to defend what is going to be a 2-base all-in. MARU does not have any other choice. There is no way he can do anything else. He's trying to build an SCV. I think he's just going to pull the boys and go. I mean, to be fair, even that won't work, but he's going to try to do a Widow Mine drop in the meantime and actually rebuild his SCVs. A very unlikely plan to work, but if he could get insane efficiency with the bio, maybe just buy it, maybe. But as these medevacs go down, both of them get focused. Hero with the split fire, so good. So good. This 4 Widowmine drop needs to kill. If he can get a Widowmine in every base and have an armory, which he doesn't have, unfortunately, maybe, just maybe. So you see he drops 2 Widowmines there. He's going to try and split them up a little bit. Widowmine's going to the natural, but the Stalkers, 3 Stalkers can 3-shot a medevac. Oh, he doesn't focus fire, though. He also doesn't split his probes that well, either. That's 7 probes go down. Surprising for a player who did recall to deal with that. And MARU, seeing the work account, the infrastructure, just says, nope, I'm done. Hero up 2-0 in the first round of the knockout bracket. This is an elimination round right now. If Hero wins one more map, MARU goes out in the round of like 24. All right. Down, but not out. He's made crazy comebacks before. Can he do it again? MARU in the top left. Still always hard to finish him off. Hero in the bottom right. He just needs 1 game out of 3 potential matches. 3 potential maps. If he wins 1, he'll be good. Now, he's coming in here with a very early scout. Blocks the barracks going down, forces MARU to build it away from the ramp, and it's delayed by 1 to 2 seconds. And that delays the Reaper coming out by a few seconds. So when I do this, I actually like to be super greedy and go Nexus before Cybercore, if possible. But I think Hero will still probably be wanting to get that Cybercore. Playing against MARU on Oceanborn, that Reaper can cross this map pretty quickly. You got to keep your eyes out for it. Now notice he is getting as much damage as he can, but when he loses his shields, he disengages, waits for the 7 seconds out of combat, I think it is, before the shields start to regenerate. So it should be on 112. There we go. And then when he's back at full shields, he'll start fighting again. And if you ever get an Adept or an Oracle in later, there's a bunch of damaged SCVs. That's one of the flow-on effects of this opening. Not to mention the Reaper is meant to start at a minute 28, guys. I believe it is. Is it minute 28? Minute 26? Something like that? Whereas that Marine didn't start till a minute 28. So yeah, I think 2 seconds later than it would have been otherwise due to the probe harass. It is still Cybercore into Nexus, nothing too crazy there, but it is a Marine first build for MARU, much like on Radhuset Station. He's going to go Command Center on the high ground. The probe, I think, oh my god, he's really delaying that Command Center as MARU. Oh, he's really delayed it. What the hell? He just wants to make sure it can't be seen, I guess. MARU playing a 300 IQ mind game. The problem with 300 IQ mind games is sometimes they end up being 0 IQ mind games. I don't know if Hero is really going to take any bait on that. I think the idea here is maybe Hero thinks there's a proxy marauder out there. So he might scout for proxies now and think, oh, you didn't put a command center down? Ah, what's going on? But as far as I can see, no bait being taken. Hero's just chilling. Going warp gate behind this. The Marine is still trying to push that probe back. It does manage to. The school of fish there dancing around. Twilight Council goes down on time. And the factory went down before reactor, right? Yeah, so this was factory. So it was Marine, then factory, then reactor. There was a big gap in production on the barracks. And that probe's finally going to see the command center. Hero's like, okay, cool. Totally normal build. He doesn't know that it's a factory. It could be a 3 racks for his all he can tell. And you do lose a lot of build time as the barracks floats down as well before building that reactor. So that is one of the things that it costs. You know, I'd love to see a really fast and loose build order. When you're up 2 games as Hero, it'd be so sick to see him play 2 gate, no robo. And just take a really quick third at like 3.5, 4 minutes. And just play mass Stalker Zealot. And in fact, he is going 3 gate blink without a robo. So he might be thinking of it. Standard would still be to grab that robo in the next 20 seconds. But yeah, there we go. Robo's on the way. On the other side, the medevac is building, as well as a second Widow Mine. Could go for a Marine Mine drop, but Blink will be ready by the time that happens. Orbital's going to float down. Interestingly, he doesn't drop a Mule in the main, guys. He lifts it first. I would always prioritize getting a Mule on one of these heavy mineral patches. Like this one, you haven't dropped a Mule on yet. Doesn't really cost you anything in terms of getting rid of those minerals early. Very late on the Mule drop. Yeah, that's an odd choice. Prioritizing getting that on the natural. I have to say that's suboptimal. Not something I say about MARU's builds. It's funny, you guys know I call out like Hero and Dark all the time for suboptimal build orders. I normally don't for MARU. Sometimes I go, oh, this is a different opening. It's a bit weird, but usually it's like, it might be weird strategically because he does go for very strange pressure to catch his opponents off guard as this tire floats up into our camera. Nice. But he's usually optimized the weirdness. Now there is a 4th gateway on the way. This is going to be 4 gate blink, but right now, not much at home. Double Widow Mine drop coming in. There are going to be 4 or 5 Stalkers out in a moment. They're not ready just yet, though. He's going to kill one of these. Oh, good probe split. Blink's not quite ready. Only losing 1 probe for 1 Widow Mine. Other Widow Mine heavily damaged. Great defense there. Having the Observer really helps as well, because otherwise what happens is if the Widowmine burrows, even if it has like 2 life left, it's invisible until after it fires, so you can't finish killing it, and it takes about a second to track onto a unit and fire. But if you've got an Observer there, you can finish killing it in that little 1 second, so it gives you just a little bit of a grace period to finish off killing the Widowmine. And we've got bunkers, tank, depot there, extra marines on top of the ramp, second and third barracks building on the high ground. It's not going to be super fast stim or anything like that. Going for a double Widowmine drop, and now a Raven harass as well. It's not cheap. Observer's still there on the defense along with a single Stalker. Hero doesn't look like he's committing too hard to the aggression. As I say that, 4 more Stalkers do warp in on the front. I take it back. Now, tank and bunker, I don't like Maru's split of units. That tank, I think that add-on, though, does make it a bit hard for him to blink on that. Oh, that tank. Okay, never mind. He gets some good tank shots off. But the bunker's not repairing. Oh, man, the depot placement is very awkward there for stopping him from repairing his own bunker. Definitely, I much prefer the bunker back and up to one space and then depot, but he's going to lose that bunker now. Hero's getting some damage. Does try to abandon with the Marines, does save them. He needs this tank down here in the low ground. Another tank has only just started building. Maru was not building that third tank for so long. He's had 2 tanks out for like 40 seconds. But the third tank only just starts. Luckily for him, the Stalkers are heavily damaged. Those first double tank shots that were landing really softened him up. Now, he could go for the stim, and that's pretty much a free snipe. It has just started, so I don't think losing stim's the end of the world. You don't want to lose your Stalkers for this. It's not worth losing your Stalkers for this. Takes out a Marine. Oh, takes out a few Marines, but he's losing some Stalkers as well. Okay, loses 1 more Stalker there, and oh, the Widowmine just got 10 probes! We go back here, we see 10 probes dead, we see chunks of worker flying, and yeah, you just did some nice damages, Hero. Not worth it if it comes at the cost of 10 probes. That hurts. He can't really fight because this bio army's getting very big. He's got to just kind of pick things off and run. Pick off and run. Shoot and move, shoot and move. That tank's in a good position. He has to blink north. If he blinks too far towards the add-ons, it's not going to work out. Going to the mineral line is a good call. Hero desperately needs damage right now. Maru appears to be getting closer to stabilizing. The Stalkers maybe could have blinked on that, but oh, taking double tank shots is painful. And remember, even though you're not losing Stalkers right now, you just lost the initial 7. Oh no, auto turrets in the main, guys. He's losing even more probes right now. Did the Raven die? The Raven is still back there with 9 kills. Okay, so the Widowmine on the natural didn't get all 10. It was the Raven combining with it. They got the damage. Bad observing from me. I apologize for that, guys. He does get a tank, does Hero. Pushes the factory back momentarily, but stim, combat shields, +1 armor, all on the way. None of it's finished yet, so don't get me wrong. Maru's struggling to fight this far away. He could get rid of the Observer. That would really help him right now. I feel like dropping a scan is almost a necessity. He's got... Guys, he hasn't been dropping mules. Maru has 165 energy. I get he's been busy microing and using the Raven and stuff, but like, what? And now the Raven's coming home, which I think it should just stay on that side of the map. How is he not dropping mules for this long? Maru's macro is really off. Like, he's microing pretty well in the defensive setup, but this tank as well is way out in the open. The Stalkers could just blink on that and kill it. Maru! He's A-moving his whole army back and forth. He needs to split it. There we go. He finally does. But man, he's got a maxed orbital. I don't know the last time I saw a maxed energy orbital in a pro game at the 8-minute mark. Late game, sure. But at the 8-minute mark, I get the intensity is there from Hero. Maru's on the brink of defeat in this tournament, and he is terribly mismacroing. That's unfortunate. That is very unfortunate. I mean, he's still not dropping mules. This is wild. You'd think here as the dust settles and he's kind of feeling a bit more stable that he drops some mules, but he's just not. He'd finally drops a mule. Drops 2 mules. He's still got more. He just clicked mule down 3-4 times. Doesn't realize he's still got 3 more where that came from. Batteries building on each base. Colossi charge and forge on the way. Don't get me wrong, Hero took massive probe losses. 19 this game, guys, and he only killed 11 SCVs. So Maru has a pretty scary army, and now that Stim's done, shields, +1 armor, concussive, it's a much better army for him. Hero's army is also very fragile, remember? Looks like he snipes a Widowmine on the move out. Does he have a Colossus yet? No, don't tell me this is his... Oh, his first Colossi isn't even done yet. And the Stalker's microing a bit derpy there. Does lose another Stalker or 2. He's lost 18 Stalkers in this game. That is so expensive. The Stalker's continuing to get jumped on. Hero's micro lacking here. He's just bled out another 4-5 Stalkers on this push across the map. You can't be losing those units so far before the fight happens. I like that there's a battery out front and a fallback battery. That is really nice positioning there from Hero. Anti-armor missile goes down on the entire army. That's going to add a lot of bonus damage. There is a battery overcharge behind it. Colossus does pull back. Nice micro for Hero. His positioning is exceptional, but look at MARU's arc. MARU's massive firing arc, the auto turret there, the Colossus floating up into the camera. The numbers are just too good for MARU. The probe damage that he was doing in the midst of it made it A-okay, and it just shows that if he was dropping mules that whole time, this would have been a crushingly one-sided defeat. MARU stays alive. Alright guys, it does drop a map there. Just took way too much damage to the Widowmine Raven Harass Hero on the top right side. Seeing how the pressure he mounted was quite effective, I do feel if he kind of chilled a little bit and just, you know, focused slightly more on defending the harassment, it could have worked out, but very hard to micro your Stalkers on the front and deal with Widowmine in one base, Raven in the other. Poo-poo happens, as they say. It's going to be a big gap in the Marine production to get that fast factory. Depot goes down pre-reactor. And there we go, reactor is starting. SCV is building the moment he gets 50 minerals. Very well-timed build order. MARU not scouting right now, other than with his Marine for the very closest proxy. Like, you could literally have a gateway proxied here and he wouldn't see it. Shows that there is a bit of weakness with these sort of build orders that Terran like to do where they don't scout. But Hero is not gambling on the crazy all-ins. He's not showing that side of Hero where he just does YOLO proxy in your face all the time. The Adept's just chilling as well, looking to deny potential Reaper scouting. Hellion's going to be the first scout here for MARU. Part of the reason why you always want to go Hellion first, not only is it a good scout, it's a decent defensive unit to help against an Adept, and it doesn't cost gas. So if you build a Widowmine straight away, your starport gets delayed by a few seconds. So you can go a Hellion, and because Hellions and Widowmines only take 21 seconds to build, you can build a Hellion and then still get 2 Widowmines out before the starport builds a medevac, which is really fantastic. He's actually going to build a Cyclone, so a bit of safety there. Cyclone's really good against like Stargate openings, Adept pressures. Not as effective against someone who's just going straight for Blink and playing defensively, which we know Hero is because he's already building a Sentry. 3-gate Blink here. He's got a battery on the natural, and that's because Hero hasn't scouted, so he's adding that just as a little bit of safety. I think he should cancel that Shade for sure. Hellion's trying to drive in here. Hero not watching. That was a bit sloppy from Hero, I gotta say. Just letting him drive into the base there. Sentry does pop out. MARU's going to get a 100% scout, but it should be a one-way trip. And there we go. No actual kills for the Hellion, just a scout. So Widowmine gets cancelled there, and he builds a tech lab. I think realizing, hey, this defensive setup is rock solid. Screw going for a Widowmine drop. We're just going to do that Cyclone drop. No Marines. So if MARU's been favoring this, not being going for the slower Marine drop, he's just going for the smallest commitments. I think MARU's tactic here is Hero likes to get aggressive. Let's make sure I always have something that can punish him by doing little small bits of damage while he's focusing on being aggressive. But stay safe at home. Get the bunker, get the tank production, get the Raven. I wouldn't mind him using the Raven to clean up the observers as well. It'd be great. Phoenix is there as well. Oh, the drop flies in and almost dies. Those 3 Stalkers deflect it. Good positioning there by Hero. Hero's playing very 2-base centric though, guys. He's going to be going for the Storm drop 2-base style. Prism's on the way. Templar Archives coming in. Kidoki, we've got the starport lifting off after that tech lab add-on being built. Stim starts. This barracks will flow over. The factory will no doubt build a reactor for itself at some point. 3 gases up. So MARU's going to be, you know, very standard play. The problem with this style is he's gone a Cyclone into a tank, and those units are not very useful versus Charge and Storm drop. Feedback, especially on the Raven, can be huge. Notice he didn't make Interference Matrix, so he can't use that to shut down the Warp Prism. Otherwise, that's a big play. They always want to put their High Templar in the Prism. Now, you want to make High Templar before you start Psystorm, guys. A lot of people make the mistake of going, oh, Psystorm's a really slow upgrade. I got to get that first. But Hero realizes getting energy on the High Templar is the most important thing, because you can have Storm finish, but if you don't have a bunch of High Templar energy banked up, which takes a long time to build, then it doesn't matter. So 2 High Templar in the Prism, and when he hits 200 gas, he'll start Psystorm. He's already going up to 7 gateways. No doubt he'll try to go to 8 gateways soon. Immediate Chrono Boost on Storm. The Adept Shade keeping MARU pinned. MARU starts his double Widowmine. His medevac production is now starting. Marines and Marauders. He's going for a good force. The problem MARU has is it's a vision problem. So if we look at this from MARU's camera, see, he's just kind of looking for harassment. He's trying to deal with any observers on his side. He scans. And he doesn't see that there's no third base. Now, he might be able to infer that from what he sees in the main base if he's really on point. Good mass repair, by the way. Only loses 1 SCV. That was pretty good reaction. Almost even saved it. But he doesn't know that it's a Storm Drop style. If he can sniff that out, MARU just needs to turtle, build a third base on the high ground, slowly take a third, get lots of Widow Mines, stay spread out so that you don't get caught by any Storm Drops, and try to squeeze a Viking or two in. Or, this is a dangerous one, but he knows there's no Observer, so he's going to go for a triple drop with a Raven around the right side of the map. Luckily for Hero, he has a Pylon, but that'll only give him a few seconds of warning. That being said, if the High Templar Prism reactively Storm Drops, it can still crush this. Third base is now probing up. It's a slow... Why has he got 3 shield batteries? That's interesting. 2 shield batteries and a cannon, sorry. And a cannon in the main, and a cannon in the natural. It's an odd style Hero's playing. He doesn't... I mean, the problem is if you build all that static, you don't have any fighting units, guys. He has no actual zealots. Hero's build order is bananas. Luckily, MARU is scared from going in there, but there's like literally 4 Stalkers, 2 Zealots right now. He has a lot of Storm. But Hero needs to start building more pylons and warping in actual fighting units. If he doesn't do that soon, he's going to be in trouble, mate. Plenty of Stalkers in the main. Cyclone runs down there. The Sentry and the Zealot do some damage. Storm there would be not bad. I wouldn't mind it. MARU, you can see pre-spreading his units. He's trying to bait those storms out. Oh, one of the High Templar already goes down. The second storm did not do much either. Oh, Stalker's baiting out a Widow Mine. Very well done. He's going to need a lot more Zealots. There's just no fighting units right now. He's still not making any Zealots. It's just Stalkers. Hero's going to try and use the battery. He hasn't activated Overcharge. There we go. Overcharge does go in. But notice MARU's got a really big spread on his army, and I think Hero building so many cannons is really costing him. He needs more critical mass of Zealots. He's got a few in there. They will set off a couple of Widow Mines. Good Storms on the right side. Great Storm on the bottom. Feedback on the Raven as well. But those High Templar, he's out of Storm now. And that Siege Tank is actually a big problem, giving massive range advantage. And MARU decisively jumps in the main base. Hero's going to jump on this and clean this army up. Takes a massive Widow Mine hit. And yes, he will clean that, but look at the main base. There's no recall available. The gateways are getting depowered. The cannon's going down. If he gets this other pylon on the left, that's going to be massive. The Forge is going to go down. And what's he got? An Archon drop. That's way too much bio to be dropping Archons on top of. He's going to try for it. It's a dangerous move, though. Probe's trying to go back to mine in the midst of this. The Archons are getting taken down by the Marine Marauder. Good micro by Hero, but he's got to deal with this. The Stalkers are kind of blocking his army. Blinks forward. Gets a medevac or two. At the end of the day, he only loses 11 probes. It could have been a lot worse. The third command center has just finished for MARU. MARU's down 4 workers. Units lost tab. It's actually in favor of Hero. But Hero has not rebuilt his High Templar. This is a classic mistake a lot of Protoss players make in this scenario, where after the first fight, they just don't make High Templar. He's got 1. He needs to make all of his gas into High Templar until he has at least 3 gathering energy. Second one does warp in as well as a few more Zealots. If you could get a bit of a Zealot backstab ready, that'd be great. And there we go. He's going to send that across. But the Widow Mine drop on the left. Is there an armory? No armory, but luckily for Hero, he built these cannons earlier. Cannon in his main went down, actually. So if that goes past the natural into the main, it could really cause him a bit of upset. A couple Vikings are out, which are going to be good versus not just the Storm drop, but also the Colossus. Observer sees this drop coming in. And with the Stalkers warping in, Hero's pretty well prepared. His buildings are kind of blocking his unit movement. Look at that. Oh, he gets it. Shuts it down. Oh, good probe split as well. Oh, that one actually gets 6-7 probes. Nicely done. 7 workers in total. It's fine. I don't think you mind losing 7 probes to a full Widow Mine drop, but keep in mind, Double Forge just finished. Hero, needs that money. And losing those probes is definitely a big bummer, because he's like, okay, I've got a Colossus out. Let's build a second. But guess what? He's only got 2 High Templar gathering Storm energy in the Prism, which is not as many as you'd want. Not only that, how does he get the gas for 1-1? He also doesn't have extended Thermal Lance. The old extender upgrade on those Colossus beams. Zealots are going to move in and get some damage there. Looks like a Zealot got cleaned up on that side. A couple of SCVs will go down, but you don't want to lose all these Zealots just for a bit of mining time. You can go after a depot. I like the Zealot in the main. Could get a few SCVs there and make this super worth it. Good micro by Hero, making it hard to clean up these Zealots. Actually, the Zealots in the bottom right got ignored. And this Zealot in the main goes ham, gets 4 kills. Finally getting cleaned up. Stalkers on the front going to take out a depot as well. Hero going to Value Town. We're so used to MARU being more efficient than Protoss in this matchup, but it's not happening today. There's a Stargate on the way. Now, you might be wondering what that is for. I also am wondering what that is for, guys. I think he's going to try and go to carriers. It doesn't seem to make sense right now. I feel like extra robos should be the play and just keep playing mid-game, but Hero playing very heavy on the static defense. Really trying to do that. The Stalker's over here. He sees the army moving to the right. So Hero's got great map vision. He's very aware of what's happening. Remember, he doesn't have much High Templar. energy. He's got a few dudes for feedback that he's trying to move forward. He wants to feed back the ghosts, of course. Army moving left right now. MARU looking for a push. I think MARU should maybe wait for 2-2. I know it's a long ways away, but I like him pressuring and looking for a good fight. But if a good fight doesn't present itself, I like him just kind of running back and forwards, keeping Hero very afraid, panicked, and taking a fourth base behind it. Really good play here by MARU. 5 barracks of factory in his starport. Viking does go down there. Great micro for Hero. But look at that. The army moves left. The army does move left. The Stalkers see it. His whole army's going to move up here to respond. MARU just looking for an opening. He's looking for it. The Stalkers blink forward. Oh, another one goes down. As does a Stalker or two, though. Colossus coming forward. Sentries as well. Uh-oh, Colossus are a bit exposed. One of them almost goes down. This dance. And look at that. Gets a full energy sentry. It's a very technical dance. Fleet Beacon's on the way right now. So we're going 1 Stargate carrier, apparently. I was not expecting this, but all right. Observer gets taken out as well. Really well done. So look, now Hero's kind of losing map vision. Does lose a Stalker down there. He needs to be building observers. He's making Immortals right now, but he does queue up an observer after that. His 2-1 upgrade's finished, so we'd love to see Hero start 3-2. For some reason, he's going 2 Stargate, Fleet Beacon, and Ship Weapons. So he's trying to play a very turtley late game, potentially looking for those carriers we saw in Game 1. He might feel this is the answer to MARU. MARU building 6, 7, 8 barracks. His 2-2's almost done. You know MARU's going to want to fight with 2-2. Going to look for that angle. He's been looking for it for a while, but he's also got 8 Vikings, which is going to be fearsome against the Prism and the Colossi. Hero, bad map vision control. He loses track of the army. MARU catches him with his pants down. The Immortal goes down. That Prism has to keep being very careful. Battery overcharge activated, but it's really not helping here. Hero wants to chase him down. You cannot chase down that ramp, though. EMPs plus Widow Mines on the ramp, devastating. And this Widow Mine Ring of Vision, you cannot be giving the Terran this much vision. That's such a problem right now. The fact that MARU has forward vision on every ramp and it hasn't been dealt with is unacceptable. Another Observer goes down. He needs to be chronoing Observers nonstop. MARU is winning this game with his technical map control. That's it. It's honestly just technical map control. Look, he's like, oh, you're going for a mass zealot? He knows about it before it even gets going. These zealots are now separated from the army. They need to come back. You can't be just sending them across the map, I don't think, on their own. We'll see. Stalkers on the left getting killed by Widowmines. He needs more observers, and he's just not building it. How many PVTs do we see like this, where the Protoss player just dies to a few Widow Mines and some aggressive positioning? You gotta respect the Widow Mines. Hero needs to recall this right now. Otherwise, he's gonna lose all these zealots. Kill a few SCVs first if you want. But look at this. He's gonna lose like 20 zealots. Oh, Hero getting cornered. MARU just mounted so much positional pressure. And look at this. The Widow Mine's firing on Stalkers and Carriers. He's trying to go for a push here with his first 2 carriers. I mean, don't get me wrong. Hero can make a scary army, but he's just thrown away a lot of zealots. He's only got 7 gates. He can't even remax here. And it feels like, okay, you got map control. Clean up the Widow Mines, though. If you don't get rid of those, they're just going to get so much value. They've already got so much value. Nice EMP, and look at that. Gets a Colossi with the Vikings. MARU is looking so confident, and Hero is looking a little bit like a headless chicken right now, running around the yard of Hecate and freaking the heck out. He needs more damage. These workers unfortunately pulled off gas and not clicked back on correctly. A few more carriers are coming out, which is good. 3-2 upgrades on the way. Does need to get his +2 ship weapons if he wants to keep up this carrier production. Zealots coming in, denying a building. Units lost tab went from ahead for Hero in this game to 3,500 resources behind. Just suck that in. MARU's lost almost no units over the last 4 minutes, and Hero's lost like 5,000. It's kind of insane. Yeah, because those observers keep getting sniped, it's a big problem. He's got observers now. He's going to go clear the Widow Mine on the right, but look at that. He's got no storm here. He just loses a carrier to the Vikings. Oh god, this is getting so nasty. 1 or 2 good storms on this clumped army will ruin MARU's day. But Hero just hasn't been able to get it, has he? And now Widow Mine, that's like its 5th Stalker kill. This one's got multiple kills. That one finally got cleaned up. Hero is getting absolutely bullied in this game. Finally, he gets a big storm. But he's got to keep those High Templars safe. If you lose that storm, you lose your ability to damage those Vikings correctly. He's on a very heavy Stalker army, a few Colossi behind it. I wouldn't mind a few Disruptors getting mixed in. I feel like MARU hasn't had to deal with Disruptors this game, and that'd be a nice addition to make things difficult for the Terran. He's going to bring the Observer down with the Stalkers and clean up the Widow Mine. Thank the Lord. But the Vikings want revenge, and they immediately take out the Observer. He just needs to non-stop be building Observers, I swear. Units lost tab is now 5,500 resources in favor of MARU. Now, MARU hasn't really focused on his macro that hard. He is building the occasional command center, so he's up to like 5 orbitals, but he hasn't... Oh, he's got 3-3 as well, actually. First 2-1 right now. Stalker's blinking back. 3-2 kicking in as I speak. Only +1 air weapons. He's going to need more than that. Otherwise, these +3 armor Marines will actually beat the Interceptors pretty hard. Viking count is about 17 on the map. High Templar looking for a Stormy Storm. Not able to find it. Few Stalkers do go down. Feels like he's got him pinned. Maru's building turrets on the front line as well. And I really love the patience for Maru. On the other hand, I am worried he's giving Hero time. But, I mean, how do you force him out? If there's no fight presenting itself, trying to force it is just a way to throw the game away. Maru knows this better than anyone. He's a very patient player. As the turrets and the sensor tower, I mean, the sensor tower is god tier. Look at this. As Hero, you got to feel claustrophobic right now. Like, this is like you come out into your living room, you wake up hungover one day, and a guy has dug a trench in your living room and is pointing a rifle over the top of it at you. And you're like, what? And you're just trying to get breakfast. And this man's already starting to unload machine gun fire on you and stuff, you know, calling in artillery strikes on just outside your bedroom door. That's what Maru's doing right now. The carriers come forward. It was a good first storm. The other High Templar pretty far behind. The Prism tries to flank and it runs into the missile turrets. Prism is still alive. Carrier's going to start to clear those up. If he can get a High Templar to the left, Maru will have to disengage, and that's a good break. Honestly, that is a very good break. Hero needed this. He's still going to lose an observer or two. Oh my god. How many observers? He's lost 6 observers this game. Very costly. SCVs run down to the right. Army supply is very even on both sides. Carrier gets focused down. 2 carriers make it. Oh, third one doesn't quite get volleyed. The Stalker's coming forward. If the High Templar can land a Storm, this is going to be game-changing. Archon's trying to land hits as well. The carrier count is not that high anymore. There's only 5 on the front. 5 carriers against 9 Vikings. A lot of the Vikings did go down there. Units lost tab is 8,000 resources in favor of Maru. Holy crud. 3 carriers, 2 Colossi, not to mention a Prism and 5 High Templar. Only 10 Vikings have gone down this game. And just not that many units falling for our Korean Terran player. He's slowed the game down a bit, and successfully so. Remember we said the longer the game goes, the better it's going to be for Maru. And what was the mistake he made in game 1? Well, he went for battle cruisers. This time, he's not making that mistake. He's got +3 range Liberators getting pumped out of... It's only 2 starports. I know a lot of Terrans like, you need 3. You really don't, guys. 2 reactive starports. You can build Liberators at an insanely fast rate. I think it's more than good enough. Remember those Liberators, only 125 gas these days. They got buffed at the start of this year. A lot of people forgot about it. Oh, big storm, big storm. That's a massive storm. Maru's whole army kind of walks through it. As the Liberators come up, it's going to add some anti-ground power, but he's only got 4 libs for now, so it is still mostly a Bio-Viking Ghost army. +3 armor, plasma shields on the way for Hero. Hero has +2 air attack. I'd like to see him get +3 there as well to round this out. He's back up to 7 carriers. The Vikings getting some shots. He's on move command. Hero! What are we doing, mate? His carriers just move commanding in. One of them dying, despite there not being many Vikings left anymore. That was a bit derpy. He does at least throw down the cloaking field and the time warp to slow down both the 40% attack speed and movement speed reduction. Zealots damaging the planetary on the right side. Neo Steel armor has just started. That has high sec auto tracking. It's not there yet. This might be a window, but oh my god, all of his High Templar except 1 get EMP'd. He's only got 1 storm to fall back on. The storm. It has to be big. It's decent, but his carriers are so low. I think he's going to lose all of his carriers. The Vikings can chase this down. The Marauders are up front. The Bio chasing. The EMPs could be big on this army. Oh my lord, so much just died, guys. 13,000 resources lost in favor of Maru. He pinned Hero on the defensive when, at the point of the game when Hero was meant to be ahead. Hero's carriers, I think, set himself up for failure. I don't like that he went for carriers so early. I really feel he let Maru play his game. On the other hand, there's an argument that carriers is genius. It overcomplicates things for Maru. But I think it all comes back to the first contain, where Maru literally just moved between here and here, back and forth, for like 5 minutes, between 10 and 14 minutes, with Widow Mines that never got dealt with, kept scanning and killing the observers, and just absolutely destroyed. GG, well played. Alright. It all comes down to this map. He's been trying this carrier late game, but man, those Widow Mines punished him. He was already a bit late on building observers, and then every time he got one, Maru scanned it. It's a bad feeling. Getting contained by 3 Widow Mines and a Terran just moving their army back and forwards, and you think, he's going to hit me, he's going to attack. And who knows, if Maru caught him enough out of position, he might have committed. But he very well could have just intended to scare Hero the whole time while macroing smoothly behind it and kept Hero on not that impressive a work account, put him in an awkward position and really punished him. I thought the break on the turret sensor tower would be really good for Hero, but it was a bit too late, a bit too little. Double gas going to come in here in game 5. It is Alcyon. Now, I really was wondering, you know, you're playing Hero. As Maru, you've got to consider you haven't been scouting a lot this series. Hero might just come and proxy a Stargate down here. Game 5. You never know. It's Hero. He's a crazy person. So I think that's why Maru's playing double gas, because it's going to get his factory up really early. It's like super safe build order without having to scout. And sometimes scouting against Hero can kind of hurt you. So I think a lot of players, when they play a guy like Hero who's very tricky, they go, you know, rather than scouting and potentially getting mind gamed, I'm just going to play super efficient with a few extra general safety precautions. And we'll see what happens. Next is going to go down in the minute 38. Not too bad. He is letting the Zealot finish, so we're going to see a Zealot pressure from Hero. Not too good against the double gas build usually, but you know, sometimes you see 2 Reapers move out and then the Zealot comes in from the side and actually delays the command center. It's pretty rare, but it can happen. Notice he's pulled off gas. So Maru is indeed going to send this depot SCV down to build the command center at 2 minutes 20. And the SCV is like, hey buddy, where are you going? Where are you going, mate? I think, no, your base is back over there. No, don't follow me. Don't, okay, all right. If you want to, get him. And the Reaper now, of course, going to jump on the Zealot. He's going to work the fog a little bit, work the sight blocker, make it hard for Maru to pick him off. Oh, he can shoot from the other angle, right? Because the sight blocker is directional, so you can stand across over here and shoot over. Cute. This takes a lot of micro, though, from Maru. His command center goes down about 5 to 7 seconds late. That's a pretty late command center, guys. That went down at 227. You can get that at 217. That's 10 seconds late on the command center. Starport there. He's building 2 Marines. At least his reactor's well-timed. And he went... Actually, he only went 1 Reaper. Reactor's not very well-timed then. It's okay. Stepped coming forward, seeing no command center on the low ground. Reaper does jump in, sees the Stargate. Great scout there for Maru. And you've always got this path to jump out. Nicely done. Here we go. Adept and Zealot going to come in here. Oh, gets a hit or 2 on the Marine, but not too much. Wouldn't have minded him damaging the Widow Mine there. But it's going to be a Cyclone for Maru. Needs that for the anti-air. Now, surprisingly, guys, he's going for a Widow Mine. My question is why? Sorry, a medevac. Why would you go for a medevac against a player who you know is playing Stargate? It might be that he wants to put on some pressure. He might actually build a Viking after the medevac, a second Cyclone, and actually push across the map and basically just keep Hero away from a third base. The thing is, unfortunately for him, Hero is going for a quick robo. So we're going to see a quick gas here and here. Hero's playing 2-base Phoenix Colossus, and that build order does really well against these aggressive openings because you're not even planning to take a fast third. Maru, yeah, building a second Cyclone and a Viking. His whole plan here is to put on pressure, keep you away from a third. Hero has no intention of doing it. So it's not like this is a game over build order advantage. It just means that Maru's build is not going to be nearly as effective as he would like, especially with a shield battery on the natural, which means he's going to be rock solid. Adept comes out and saves the Zealot. That Zealot actually did a great job of controlling the tower. Very nicely done. Command center landing on the natural. Mule does go down there. Liberator on the way as well. Maru's really committing to the aggression. Oh, he's going hardcore. This is a crazy thing to do in game 5 of a series. And you know what? Hero is normally a greedy boy. He's not a great macro player in terms of playing standard solid play. But that's exactly what he's doing. He's doing a very un-hero-esque play, which is just turtle defense. He's making immortals. He's got a shield battery. He has a second gateway as well. He didn't skimp on anything. He could build a second immortal and crush this. He's not building any immortals or Phoenix right now, though. Hero is not building units. Okay, he makes a Stalker, but a little bit derpy on his execution. Maru might actually get massive damage. Coming out to fight this away from the battery is so brave. Is this a bit silly? I don't know. The Immortal does force the Cyclone to lift. Good saves for Maru, but at the end of the day, you've only lost a Phoenix and a few Gateway units. Terran Push has lost a lot of their high-tier units. You heal up at the battery, and then you go straight back in for more. That Immortal can two-shot that Cyclone. It does go down. Phoenix does fall, though, and the fact that he wasn't continuing to build Phoenix or Immortals during the start of that, I think is a big mistake. Hero is now supply block, trying to defend the third base. I guess that isn't necessary, but he does need to defend this high ground. He can't be losing all that. The Immortal Stalker comes in here, going to pick up and drop on the high ground. Nice moves right there for Maru. Phoenix picks off the Viking. Immortal on the high ground. With only one Phoenix, you can just kill the pylon. Get in, get out. Oh no, he didn't finish the pylon. He's trying to drop down there. Maru flying over the Stalkers, trying to do a gamble to meet up. And he thought he was going to overwhelm the Stalkers by dropping on them, but he left the pylon there and threw his whole army away. The Immortals come there. Maru plays a high-risk, high-reward maneuver, and he gets risk, not reward. Not the most eloquent way of saying it, but you understand what I'm saying. Liberator does get 7 probes in total, which makes up for it a little bit. He's got a third building on location. The greed. MARU is playing a fast and loose style of StarCraft right now. The problem is, he's basically banking on this command center finishing. If that command center doesn't finish, like he's just got to finish it and immediately lift it to the high ground and then sit on 2 base for a while. The work account's close enough. MARU can absolutely salvage this situation. Despite how risky it was, I really feel that Hero should have probably been a little more careful on the first engagements. But as it is, command center does finish. It gets back. Nicely done. MARU's got to keep that Viking back. MARU! Little sloppy on his micro there. Siege tank will move forward a little bit. Observer will see it. Hero still taking the tank shot regardless. Second and third barracks now building their add-ons. Fourth and fifth barracks on the way. Double upgrades should be starting momentarily. MARU is just going to play very carefully, very safe for a little bit. And I think you should know this as Hero, and you should have no gaps in your probe production. As I say that, Hero is not even building probes right now. My gosh. Hero, you clearly cannot break him here. You have to probe up. He's not been probing for the last 30 seconds. Oh, my lord. There's no way going for an all-in right now makes sense. Phoenix Colossus is not an all-in composition. He's chrono boosting Colossi. What is Hero doing right now, guys? This is disastrous. This is... Hero, wake up. Wake up, mate. He's looking at his observer. He builds probes for the first time in a minute. A minute of not building probes. When your opponent's turtled up on tanks with a third command center, unless you've got a good all-in timing you can hit and you're committing to 100% army, it makes no sense to be building nothing but army and tech here. And yet he's not probing. He's legitimately going for a charge lot all-in off 48 probes. He built 3 probes and then that's all. He's actually doing a 2 base all-in. Okay, this does make sense. What he's going to do, he's going to fly in, pick up the siege tanks with the Phoenix, and he's just going to go for Zealot Archon all-in. He's already showing his hand. He's not actually ready to fight just yet. He just doesn't want MARU to get too set up. He wants to wait for the Zealots, which is going to be 1 minute out. Okay, so at 9 minutes, Hero's going to hit with a big all-in. Oh my god, did he get the command center? He got the command center! What? I did not think he had enough Stalkers and Phoenix, but yeah, 5 Stalkers, 4 Phoenix, and not to mention the damage he did when it was landed. MARU losing his command center, I didn't even think that was an option there. MARU has 2 Ravens, which the Phoenix can also shoot down very quickly, and the moment these Zealots come in, this is a very quick 8-gate Zealot, and the thing is, as MARU, you don't think he's going to reinforce with Zealots. You think Hero's probing, because that's what a sane person would do right now. Hero, fortunately for himself, is insane, and when MARU moves out to retake that third, he's going to get swarmed by Zealots. I wouldn't be surprised if Archons come in as well. Though right now, Hero is still building Phoenix, which is why he can't do that. He's looking for the heavy Phoenix count. So when he goes in, he wants Immortals on tanks, Phoenix on Ravens, Colossi on Marines. If he can get those units to kind of jump on the units that they want to, he's going to crush it. MARU's moving out with like a big 2-base push. And Hero is actually like, hey man, I'm behind you. Is he going to go for like a base trade? It's a bit of a weird one. Hero's going for like a weird little base trade right now. Wow, this game's getting super weird, super fast. Interference Matrix got made, though. Hero, watch out! Hero! He's getting Matrixed! His Colossi are getting wrecked! Oh no, Hero corners himself here! Oh, Hero! I thought he was in such a good position, but he kind of corners himself. The Interference Matrix is epic. The Colossi trying to pull back. The Zealots are getting wrecked. The tanks are doing good shots. The Phoenix are looking quite good. There's not much that shoots up here. But, dude, I don't know why Hero didn't just engage the army when it moved out or pull back. Moving into the corner. This was such a bizarre decision. Thankfully, he saves 1 Colossi. Oh, there's actually not a lot of anti-air here for MARU, though. The Phoenix are going to kill a siege tank, a bunch of Marines. Not too bad. The air dominance is there. It's just Marines and Vikings building third command center is going to try to float out. But, dude, Hero has turned this into a hot mess of a game. And he's getting some big pickups, but he's been so slow to build economy. He's going to move out to take a 4th base in the near future on the rich gas base. But he's only on 54 workers. His economy kind of sucks. And he did get rid of the Ravens at least, but wasn't able to do it before they landed absolutely killer spells. And one of the Colossi died so fast in that fight. The other 2 being Matrixed and doing very little themselves. MARU has a good economy. He's got 1-1. He's got a Ghost Academy on the way. The Vikings got to be careful with that. Yeah, he's going to have to split his army up right now. MARU, you can see, is kind of F2ing his army a little bit. He's got to get that organized. Proxy Gateway there, 4th base on the way. Hero is still just sitting on 54 workers. The man refusing to build more workers. If he starts probing now, he could have this fully saturated and have a pretty good setup. But I'm going to start probing as I say it. Phoenix, one of them goes down, another one very low. He's going for Blink, so going to a more traditional army. No armory on the way for MARU. He's a bit too broke. Okay, there we go. I was like, he's going to stay 1-1 for a very long time. He's changed his mind. I think he does need a gas or two on this third base. He's also going to probably need to lift his main out at some point because those minerals are going to be getting very low. Yeah, maybe 3 minutes of mining in the main at most before he's got to lift that out. Ghost Star coming in, which will be effective. My worry for Hero right now is that his composition... I think he was in a really good spot before, but his composition is weird. Because, like, Templar Archives, Archons aren't going to be good versus Ghosts. You've got some Immortals, which adds a bit of depth to your army. If the Viking count gets big enough, this arm, and there's enough, you know, Vikings for the Phoenix and the Colossus, enough EMPs for the Archons, this army basically hits an expiry date. And that's why Hero has to go push now when there's only a few EMPs, a couple of Vikings. This is his window to fight. And I think he's right to think so. The downside is that he just probed up a 4th base, and it hasn't really reaped the rewards just yet. He's going to 10 gateways. He's down in army supply. It is a higher quality army in general, I would say. But he definitely needs to be warping in some more units. He's got a Prism on the right. He's got a gateway on the left. He could warp in some Zealot Runbys there. Siege tanks do blast one of those units. A couple of Ghosts on that right side. The tanks aren't fully covering this ramp. A little bit awkward on that tank positioning, but Maru's afraid to pull them back. I think he wants to pull back to over here, or he's actually going to push forward. Maru's got +2 on the way. Hero has +1 armor. It's equal upgrades. +2 attack for Protoss, 1-1 for Terran. So already 2 Immortals out with a 3rd building. Hero's still on, like I said, this kind of lower tier army. He's also almost supply blocked right now. If he can get good Colossus beams on the Marines, he could melt it, but he's got to be careful. Zealot's going to get some decent Widowmine hits on the Zealots. Actually, nothing too impactful. Could have been much better for Maru. Maru's still way up in supply, though. It's just Maru's Viking count's a little low. He's only got 1 starport, so this next Viking versus Phoenix Colossus interaction will probably decide the game. If Maru can just chip away and pick off those high-tech units from afar, really get a good trade like in the last game, he should be able to win. But if he loses those Vikings and all the Colossus are still alive, he might just be dead. There's a 2nd Robo, 2nd Forge on the way. It is 4-base Protoss against 3-base Terran. The 4th base now floating out. 4 Terran will find the gateway over there. It's a big bio army. I am worried that Maru's very clumped up, so he can start a step away from Zealot Archon, but those Colossus beams could be devastating. Where's the EMPs? Here come the Phoenix diving in right now. EMPs not really landing very quickly. There we go. The EMPs do start to land, but the tanks have already gone down. Nice engage for Hero. Cleans up the tanks, gets in, gets out before overcommitting. And he can start to maybe regenerate those shields. A lot of the EMPs already got used. There are 8 Ghosts, though, so they will regenerate extra EMPs by the time the shields get up to full. The Phoenix still have lift energy. There is 8 Vikings. Maru needs a few more Vikings. He's not quite maxed. Hero is actually getting a good angle. I feel like if Maru splits, he might be able to flank this army. There's not that much Zealot Archon. It's mostly a Stalker kind of Colossus ranged army. SCVs get pulled. He's going for it. Maru shoving into the mids takes a massive ball to the face. Oh, man. Colossus getting taken down by the Vikings, though. That's where the chase goes very well for Maru. More Zealots coming in. The Disruptor in the front lines going down. The Archons going down. The Immortals trying to fight the Zealots. Another Colossus comes in, that Disruptor, forcing Maru to pull back. The Vikings fighting with those Phoenix. He's trying to get rid of the Prism that's warping in, but extra Zealots just barely get in. It's such a close fight. It's a nail-biter. And it looks like at the end of the day, Maru holds onto the ground, clears all the high-tech Protoss units. If he can get rid of those last 2 Immortals, which he does right there, I think that's worth losing a bit more bio. The supply is neck and neck. 48 workers for Terran, though. Only... Wait, 51, sorry. I was looking at the army supply. He's only got 51. To be fair, Protoss only has 63 workers, but seems like much more mineral mining right now. Terran's been having to use so many scans. I think that's actually where Hero's been getting an advantage. Because Maru's been stuck on the defense, he's been using so many scans, not as many mules. And the income can kind of pretty damn heavily favored there for Protoss, especially with that rich gas on the left. On the other hand, the army supply is still ahead for Maru. Maru still has the better army right now. The Zealot Stalker looking for the Viking pickoffs. It's a dangerous move. Tries to get in and out, and he pays a bit of a price there. Yeah. Loses 3 Zealots. 2 Colossi being rebuilt. Okay, so this is crazy. Hero's going to go 2 new sentries, a Disruptor. He's going to go 4 Colossus. Oh, the ball. Hero. Okay, he throws the ball. He's got to recall immediately if he wants to save it. Gonna try and just run away. Luckily for him, Maru doesn't chase. Single Marauder probably could have chased that down. 3-2 upgrades coming in, or 2-2. No, 3-2 for Protoss. 3-2 against 2-2 for Terran. +3 does start for Maru. Maru's not really building workers. He's embracing the low economy game. He's going to need more Vikings, though, as that Colossus count will surprise him. He sees now, okay, Colossus have been rebuilt. I like the idea of Doom dropping and just turtle at home. Viking production restarts there, but he only had enough money to build one. His gas is actually starving right now. His main gases have mined out. MARU, oh, he's going to lose a medevac there. Does lose one, but it's a stalker kill for it, not the end of the world. Yeah, he's got to take gases on this fourth. I know that sounds weird right now, but he's only on 4 gas mining, and he can get a few units out, but every time he builds a ghost or a couple of Vikings or an upgrade, you can see he's starving. MARU definitely going to need to get those gases and spend that money. He's going to come home and maybe try to flank this army. But the Observer sees it, and Hero seeing those drops out of position, he might say, well, half your army's here. Let's fight before you can unload. See, looks like a Zealot got set off by on a Widow Mine. Big spreadies coming in here from MARU. He's only got 5 Vikings. Those Colossus are a conundrum right now. Good Stalker blink forward. Both sides trading shots there. The Viking takes half-life. Colossus taking a bit of chip damage on its shields. This is such a close game, man. Hero is back up to a 20 worker lead. He's also got an army lead. I think MARU wisely is abandoning this base. He just needs more Vikings, but he never had that second starport up, and that's really what's hurting him here. If he could quickly jump to 10 or 12 Vikings, I think he could win this. But look at that. 8 SCVs going down. The Disruptor shot's trying to take pot shots at him. Zealot, Stalker, Colossus here, trying to engage. The Prism does go down. MARU pulling the boys. He's got a big Bioforce, but he's not have a lot of Vikings. He has to pull away from the Colossi on the ground. They're doing a lot of damage to his Marauder Ghost. Big Disruptor shot lands on his front line. MARU may get rid of the Colossi, but he's losing so much bio on the ground at the same time. And most importantly, he lost 28 SCVs. He does clear the army. Don't get me wrong. Hero took massive damage. But Hero has 10 gates, and most importantly, a 50 worker advantage. So even though the army supply is pretty close right now, it's basically, I just need to survive. That's all Hero's thinking. Pump Disruptors, pump Zealot Stalker, try to hang on. And I think Zealot run-bys would be the easiest way for him to win. Because if you can intercept the rally and take like small trades away from the front, that's where Terran's especially weak, where their medevac healing isn't, where they can't micro. Stalkers, few of them dying. He's got to be careful with that. Disruptors come forward though. Yeah, this is the situation where MARU's just going to try and force one, single directional fight and out micro you, but the Marine Marauder count looks kind of paltry compared to 18 Zealots, 6 Stalkers, and 5 Disruptors. The supply is scaling way too heavily now. I think MARU's given too much time, and it was just the lack of the extra starport production. The swap back into Colossi was fantastic. A lot of Protoss stopped building Colossi after they lose them all, but Hero knew he killed all the Vikings in that fight, or most of them. And he realized going back into 4 Colossus was good enough. Hero playing an aggressive, low economy style, refusing to probe up his third for a long time, sniping MARU's 3rd command center. And from there, it's been relentlessly in the face of MARU. MARU has not had much of a chance to be on the Protoss side of the map. And, it's kind of this weird thing where I feel like that is how you win this matchup from either side. If you can constantly be attacking without overcommitting, you can absolutely destroy a Terran as Protoss or a Protoss as Terran. But... you just need to make sure you don't overcommit. And that's exactly what Hero did this time. He was constantly in his face, forcing MARU to be on the defensive. It's kind of the reverse of the Hecate experience where MARU was camping outside his base threatening. But this time it's been Hero on his side of the map the whole time. Even though he did that crazy push into the natural that was super dicey. MARU just not even going to take the last fight. He knows he's done for. He's down on the economy. He's losing a base. He can't fight into Disruptors. What could he possibly do here? We can rewind a few seconds to look at just before he GG'd, but his army's just worse than this army. And he's down so drastically in income. He's losing his last, most important base. You got to admit, it's game over at that point. MARU knew it. And Hero, he almost lets that series slip away, but at the end of the day, he gets a 3-2 victory. GG, well played.